good evening, and welcome to the Nightcap. Before we get started, we love having you here. We love having you as part of our family. So if you're watching on YouTube, please remember to like, subscribe, share with your people, your friends, your family, and yeah, let's grow the top of the morning community. Today, I came to say, go to the dentist. So and I'll get into the principle of really everything that I'm talking about. But I'll tell the story first. So I went to the dentist, unfortunately, a couple of weeks ago, and I had a crack in my tooth, right? And I was like, oh, this is so sad. This is, really crazy, right? Oh, I was not having any of it. Crack in my tooth, rushed an emergency dentist appointment. Cool, get there. He does the thing, I'm biting, he's doing an x-ray, he's seeing, he looks, he's like, okay, cool, damn, I'm so sorry, cool, right? Now he's done all the assessments, he's done the checks, it's like 7 in the evening sort of a thing. He comes to me, he's asked it, so I said, hi Khanya, yeah, there's a broken tooth that you've got, and we're gonna need a filling, and this is the situation. And I was so saddened, right? I was so sad. I was like, I love my teeth. My teeth are great. And as he's doing his assessment and he's briefing me, he says, Khanya, you're so unlucky because all your teeth are incredibly healthy and in great condition. He says to me, I don't know how this happened in this one tooth out of your whole mouth, because everything else is in pristine condition. Right? And that kind of made me so proud, but then also made me so sad as well. I was like, bruh, how the heck did this happen? Because he's literally just like, hey, you great health. This was just anomalous. And I think the lesson that came to me from that, right, was I've always gone to the dentist, but at a not as required regularity. Maybe, he's always recommended once a year sort of a thing. But every time I'd gone to dentist, the always thing is, wow, your teeth are great. You're doing well. Fantastic. And I think I've always leaned on that. But as a result of that, I think I then didn't go at the consistent regularity that is required. And that therefore resulted in just this one little anomalous thing having dire impacts. And so really the title is Go to the Dentist, but the lesson that it brought to me, right, was even when you're doing well, important to do the good things that you should be doing consistently, regardless of whether you're doing well or you're not doing well. And it felt like a beautiful lesson to say, yes, yeah, you're doing well and you're doing this, but it's important to just keep doing the right things, even if you are on top of the world. Do you know what I'm saying? And that's really what I came to speak about today, tell me, what are your thoughts? What are your feelings?
So I think firstly, KG just wanted to low key flex on us about his teeth, but
No,
well,
dang. I
but
had to.
he had to low key flex on us. But okay, so okay, from the non-medical side of it, so obviously, okay,
Yeah.
to go to the dentist, please do. Don't get me wrong, but the concept of even when things are going great, be, most likely because you're doing the things you should be doing.
Mm-hmm.
So now when they're going great, don't stop doing those things.
Exactly.
That's the basic idea. That's what I understand about what you're
Mm,
saying,
mm,
and that's a
mm,
beautiful lesson, KG.
mm,
Very
mm.
intriguing way to give the lesson, but it's a great, but it's a very nice lesson. I'm very happy. I'm very keen to listen to more of your KG. So I guess
Mm.
my question is, you stop doing these things. I feel like because you don't feel that they are that important, or
Mm. Mm.
maybe it's not a lack of importance, maybe it's a lack of time.
Mm.
But
Mm.
how do you make time for these things? Or what's okay, I guess once a year to go to the dentist, that's not the end of the world in terms
Yeah,
of time.
yeah,
You know,
yeah,
you
yeah.
can make time to go and do that. But you know, in
Mm,
something else, it's moving up to the a real life thing where you started doing well. How do you make sure you are still doing those
mm,
basics?
mm. And I think this is such an incredible, great, pervasive lesson, right? And I think it's connected to another incredible quote that one of my favorite archetypes, we had this in one of our early episodes about the people we'd like to go to lunch with. And I wonder if you would
Yeah.
remember who I'd like to go to lunch with. But Jose Mourinho once said, in football, never too high, never too low, right? When you win, don't be too happy. When you lose, don't be too sad, right? And I think the connected thread in all of this is that you must just be focused on doing all the important things that you're doing. And as you said, V, is you only started winning because you put in the consistent reps, right? Time has not
Yeah.
disappeared now because you're winning. You know what I mean? It's literally yesterday you were doing the reps. Today you woke up, you got the email that wow, Top of the Morning has a million subscribers on YouTube, sort of a thing. And that day
Yeah.
is not the day in which we now switch up our whole plan and do the things. It's like, no, we keep to our routine, we keep to our schedule. If anything, you add more, but it's always important to remember that you do and keep the reps, the fundamentals that you're doing. It's about almost progress not becoming something that gets to your head or gets you too excited. It's about progress must be more fuel for you doing the consistent basics better and adding more layers, sort of a thing. And so almost in the more grounded example of, let's call it, the making time for our everyday life, is you just gotta keep focusing on what are the essentials that got you here. You know what I mean? What are the
Yeah.
essential key tools that got you here, and why, or what are the principles of those things? Because I think also once you get to a certain point, I think one of the things that I did, as we've shared with the podcast, is one of the parts of this podcast was consistency, right? But as
Yeah.
you evolve in your life, you you're not required to exercise the same muscle in the same way, right? So now I know I'm consistent. It's in my muscle. No, I'm not have to doing exercise that prove I'm consistent, but it's like, how can I evolve that same base principle in a way that is now applicable in my life, now? But I think it's just being remembering the principle of what you're doing and why it got you to where you are now.
I get you.
Mm,
Yes,
mm,
to talk to a different application, or what
please.
came to mind for me was the idea of training for something,
Yo.
or training like with a goal in mind to achieve. So you guys are all runners. I refuse. So I refuse. So I'm not going to talk about running,
He's
but
like,
but I
I
know
will not. I will not talk about running.
I'll not talk about running. But I just don't want to bore people and talk about golf again.
Oh,
But let's
not talk
talk.
about running brings up golf again.
Yeah, no, okay, yeah,
Mm,
exactly. Like, oh, the golf. Okay, so let's talk about something like tennis. Tennis
mm,
as a sport.
mm.
So, when you start, you go to your coach and you start working on like, I would call it, let's say, basic hand-eye coordination.
Yes, yes.
Just
Yeah, I think that's a
how
great
do
place.
I move this racket to hit the ball to get it to
Indeed.
that side of the net?
Indeed. Indeed.
Nothing more complex than that. How do I move this racket to hit the ball to get it to that side of the net?
Mm-hmm.
And now you get better at tennis. Now you can play a backhand. Now you can you can serve. That does not mean that you must not still work on that basic of how do I move it,
Exactly.
how do I move
Exactly.
this racket to get the ball over the net? But maybe now it's just at a different level. Whereas first you were just
Yes.
trying to get it to flop there. Now you're trying to like whack it and
Yes, literally. Yes, I love that. You put it so perfectly. And yeah, go for it. Go for it. What are you gonna say?
no. Okay, all over to you.
No,
I've had myself.
fantastic. No, it's exactly that, right? And that is almost a clear explanation of the curve of progress, right? Is that
Hmm.
progress just means that you evolve in the way that you apply that principle. But it doesn't mean you stop doing
Yeah,
that base principle. For example, now consistency is, now I know that I've got the consistency muscle, right? It's about being consistent
yeah,
over a few things, right? And that is now this
yeah,
evolution of that sort of a thing. So it's about always remember the root that got you here and making sure you stay true to that principle, because that is ultimately how you become great at all the facets of your life, right? It's not about being great at things, it's not about, but
yeah.
just about being the best actualized version of yourself is how I took this. And it just reminded me that it's important to do the right things as you know them. And also, in no way was I complacent, but it felt like a small simple reminder of how painful letting go and disregarding something can end up. It thankfully is not like
Yeah.
I was in pain and nothing deep conceptually happened. But to me it was very deep, that
Mm.
like my tooth broke, because I was like, I love my teeth, I'm so grateful for them, like my smile, all these things. And it was like, it was so saddening that this small thing could happen in a place that's not invisible, but just the concept was so unfortunate. And it was just a reminder that Khanya, when if one is to um letting small things go, you know what I mean, it can have hurt you in ways that
Yeah.
are unnecessary. You know what I'm saying? So one just has to
Unnecessary. Yeah.
just do all the things that you know are good for you, the things that you know you should be doing, and the things that are consistent in a certain manner that got you to where you are. You know what I mean? Mm,
Got you to where you are.
mm, mm,
Yeah,
mm,
yeah.
mm.
So, as you said about reps and time, so I was watching, I think it was a YouTube video on Bryson DeChambeau's channel. He was playing with uh, Carlos Alcaraz, the number one tennis player in the world, and so his comment was that he feels like to be or to play tennis is easier than it is to play golf,
Mm-hmm.
but to be great at tennis, he thinks it's harder to be great at tennis than it is to be great at golf. And
Oh,
funny, it's yeah, interesting. Whether I disagree on that or
he's like,
not is
whoa,
for
whoa,
for an,
whoa.
well, like it was a hot take, but
Mm,
look, obviously he's gotten to where he is, and as you listen to two greats of their respective sports talk, you realize like the amount of time and work that these guys have put into the basics
mm.
to get those right, and it's mesmerizing to me actually.
Yeah, wow, wow, wow. And it is so incredible that it's that the right type of repetition enables you to be great. You know what I mean? The right type of
Yes,
repetition
I agree.
enables you to be great. Mm.
Ooh, so I have a great. So when we were in grade three, so we were 9 years old. Our cricket coach was our headmaster at the time. Had something he used to say to
Ah,
us. He used to say, "Practice does not make
mm.
perfect." He used to say, "The right
Yes,
practice makes perfect."
exactly, exactly, exactly. So it's about doing the right things that get you there. And it's not just about doing the things, but it's about doing the right things that got you there and continuing them. And I think really with that, it's a perfect place to end the nightcap. Have a beautiful evening, Big Man V.
Cheers, KG. Thanks for having us.
Amazing.